coming up in a few minutes because Eagles and Phillies both on the table. The Eagles discussion, whether or not you want to see the starters play in the preseason. And when it comes to the Phillies, what do you need to see them do this series against the Dodgers? And I need to see them win this series. I need to see them build off of the momentum of yesterday's win and carry that into Chavez Ravine and take 2 of 3 from the Dodgers. I'm not asking for a sweep. I'm not asking for them to destroy the Dodgers. I'm asking for a series win, and then we can move forward and say that a lot of these issues were in the past. I know you're telling me that that's a big order to ask for.
Here's the way I look at it. If I'm going to get back in the gym, like if I haven't worked out for a while, some people will go into the gym and they'll get on the bench press and they'll put up like 185 or whatever, like nothing crazy, but they're going to start at the weight that they left at or close to it. I'm the type of person that if I get back in the gym, I'm starting with like the 5-pound dumbbell and I'm working my way up. I think gradual growth is more sustainable. And when you start to get out over your skis of saying, okay, we're trying to build back from something, and immediately it's let's win this series against the Dodgers. It's not an unfair expectation. It's not. I know I brought up the fair, unfair
the Phillies
thing.
are the better team, right?
They are. But I'm
so
trying.
Win.
You got to make sure. You don't just
I'll be simple about
when
it.
Cooper learns how to ride a bike, you're not just going to go one block and then take the training wheels off. You got to work your way up to stuff, and the Phillies have not been playing good baseball. And I don't know that it's as simple as they win this game and they snap out of it, so I want to see gradual improvement.
Right. And if they lose this series, that's 7 straight series losses.
Okay, and
I can't see that.
I'll tell you, win or loss against the Dodgers, they need to win the 4-game series against the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, they better.
Right? So
how about you make it 2 straight series wins as opposed to you snap a 7-series loss skid?
Okay, well, is it a rational explanation to say that the Dodgers are a very darn good team?
They are a very good darn baseball team. So are the Phillies.
I got you.
So win a freaking series for the first time in what feels like a month.
This is not the one where I'm going to draw the line in the sand. It's not. It's not the Dodgers on the road just because they won yesterday. It's going to be the Diamondback series in a series that would probably be a pretty poetic one to find a way to bounce back in, considering they're the team that makes you scared that this is what the Phillies are going to do in the postseason.
Right, absolutely.
But I understand. I think they can beat the Dodgers. I hope they do.
All right, you can text in or call in at 610-632-0975. By the way, today's show is being powered by Top Golf. Give the new Sure Thing a swing at Top Golf today and score an order of free wings, which sounds delicious. All right, Rob Thomson. I want to have a legitimate conversation about him because sometimes, I say this out of love, it's hard to have conversations with John when he's got his belief and he's going to stick by it. That Rob Thomson is a manager that is, he said what? He is mediocre tactician.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people fall victim to what happened at the end. Like, we poo-poo the Phillies doing something bad in the World Series. Like, they got to the World Series. Like, they had to win a wild card round, a divisional round, and a championship series to get to the World Series. Same thing last year, obviously one series short in the NLCS. You had to win the wild card round against the Marlins. You had to win the divisional round again against the Braves to get to the NLCS. And because he pulled Zach Wheeler in Game 6 of the World Series, which he had been doing, mind you, throughout the entire playoff run.
Yeah, I still hated the move.
And that's fair. He pulls Zach Wheeler. It does not work out. Jose Alvarado gives up the home run to Jose Alvarez. And now Rob Thomson doesn't know what he's doing. Even though the things that he did in the wild card round, the DS and the CS, and in some of the games of the World Series were incredible. That guy was pushing every right button. The same thing can be said about last year up until the NLCS. And a lot of people will give Rob Thomson crap for the Christopher Sanchez start when it has since been reported by Hall of Famer Jason Stark that was a decision made upstairs, not Rob Thompson's decision. That was a decision made upstairs. And no, you can't just say, well, you're the manager, you should push back. Dave Dombrowski goes, are you going to the Hall of Fame or am I? Right? Like, pretty simple.
Hey, man, Topper's here long enough, maybe both. But yes,
yeah, we'll see.
I know your argument, and you're absolutely correct.
So I think it is unfair to just say Rob Thomson isn't good at certain things. We all agree the guy can handle a locker room for 162 games, right?
Clearly.
Whether you like the guy or not, we all agree that this guy can do that. Now, will there be a time where he might need to show a little bit more? Maybe. Who knows? That might not be his mentality, and maybe that works on some teams, and maybe it doesn't. Rob Thomson should not be fired. I've heard it a lot recently. I've seen it on social media. There are some people that I think believe if he were to be fired today, it would be like the Joe Girardi effect, where then all of a sudden they go on a 10-game winning streak. I think they hated Joe Girardi. The players did. I don't think they hate Rob Thomson. If anything, it might be the opposite effect. And if you fire Rob Thomson, they're not going to go, let's do this for Topper, man. Like, no, that's not how this works. There's probably going to be infighting. They're going to hate the organization, all that kind of stuff.
There's a better chance that Rob Thomson ends this year as manager of the year in the National League than there is he ends it's fired.
Absolutely.
You're insane if you think his job's in any type of question.
Now, Nick Sirianni, we talked about firing him after last season. Now, big difference here, after. Right? Not during. I wasn't begging for Nick Sirianni to be fired in week 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I wanted the guy fired when he showed that his team was unprepared for the final 2 weeks of the regular season. And when you thought maybe in a playoff game they would have a little bit more, they weren't. Like, they looked dead. And to me, that is, his messaging is falling on deaf ears, or his game planning is not working out, and he had 2 months to solve something, and he didn't. Rob Thomson has time to still try to figure things out. Firing him today does nothing for this Phillies team. If they fall short in the playoffs, they take another step back. They lose in the divisional round of the playoffs. With all the talent on this baseball team, there might be a legit conversation.
About next year, his seat getting hot, not about him not being the manager after this season. I don't think that there is you would have to lose 75% of your games the rest of the way for Rob Thomson to even be considered to be fired by this organization.
Right.
He ain't going anywhere, folks.
No, he's not.
Because here's what it is. It's actually a scary...
By the way, didn't they extend his contract last year by 2 years?
They did.
Okay. Yeah.
But you can always
go
ahead and
I know.
buy that out. But it's a scary comparison, like a scary accurate comparison between him and Nick Sirianni. Because the question mark for both of them is the actual strategy of the game. Now, I think Rob Thomson is still significantly better than what we've seen from Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, we rip him for that Wheeler decision, but nobody wants to celebrate the way he's handled those 2 outings by Ranger Suarez back-to-back years against the Dodgers or Braves.
But if there is a question about Rob Thomson, that's it, right? It's how he handles the in-game stuff.
Yeah.
And there's no question about the locker room and keeping guys together. Well, Sirianni was always that motivational locker room messaging coach. And part of the reason that I did not want him back is because what was supposed to be his bread and butter last year?
Offense.